What's up? Today I wanted to do a video that might trigger a little bit of conversation in the comments as I rank the various Dragon Ball arcs on a tier list. I've been watching Dragon Ball since I was a small child. It's always stayed with me. And in this tier list, they didn't have Broly and Superhero, so I added them. But as you can see, it also has the manga arcs, because obviously these two have not been adapted to anime, and then these are pretty different in the manga as opposed to in the anime. There's actually some key differences. So they're deserving to be ranked separately. As you can also tell, there are filler arcs in here, so we're going to just go ahead and rank those as well. And we got tiers S through F. I've seen all of these, so I'm not going to be using the unsure or haven't seen section. Can I remove it? I can. Delete row. All right, we're going to delete that row. All right, cool. So keep in mind, this is just my opinion, and I'd love to hear your opinions on how you would rank the various arcs in Dragon Ball, because everybody's different. Everybody's got different tastes. I'm going to have some rankings here that are not necessarily going to be in line with what you may think. So please feel free to share if you think my rankings are just flat wrong, or if you would just rank certain things differently. We're going to go in order here. You know, we're just going to go in order of how they are down here and just rank them in order. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Hunt for the Dragon Balls arc. I call it the Emperor Pilaf arc. I mean, I actually really like the first arc in Dragon Ball pretty well. I think it's got a lot of really fun moments. Obviously, the introduction of the characters themselves. The reveal that Goku can turn into a giant great ape. Also, keep in mind, for the Dragon Ball Z arcs, for the anime stuff, I'm going to try and kind of find a middle ground between like the original Z version and the Kai version of the arcs, because some of these arcs I think were better in the Kai version of Dragon Ball Z than they were in the original. So I'm going to largely be basing the anime arcs off of that, though I will give my opinion on what I thought of the original versions of the arc. But as far as the Emperor Pilaf arc, I feel comfortable putting it in B tier, because I think it was a really fun arc. It's definitely nowhere near my favorite, but I think it was a really fun arc that did a really good job of introducing a lot of the characters and introducing sort of that real adventurous feel that original Dragon Ball has. The 21st Tenkaichi Budokai arc, 21st World Tournament. I've really got a soft spot for this arc. If I was doing this as like a top 10 or ranking them and only one could go in a spot, I'd have to move it lower than I would like. I think it's easily A tier. Maybe S. I could even potentially put it in S tier, but I think I'm just going to leave it in A tier because I know some of the arcs I'm going to put in S tier are just way above it. But I love the training and stuff, you know, the training before the tournament itself. I mean, all of that, I love it. And Jackie Chan versus Goku is one of my favorite fights in the entire series. So there's that. I'm going to put it in A tier. Again, these are based off of my personal enjoyment of the arcs. If you disagree, that's fine. The Red Ribbon arc, to me, it's one of my least favorite arcs, easily. I'm not going to say it's bad, but there are parts of it where I'm just like, ugh, this is kind of boring, you know? It's got its redeeming qualities. I think the best parts of the Red Ribbon arc to me are probably the episodes that take place in Penguin Village, with General Blue and Arale and all that, and the Mercenary Tao stuff. And I guess really, you know, I know the Fortune Teller Baba saga is like after the Red Ribbon Army saga and all that stuff, but I guess, you know, the Fortune Teller Baba stuff is kind of on the tail end of the Red Ribbon arc, because I don't consider the Red Ribbon Army arc concluded until Goku brings back Bora, which takes place after the Fortune Teller Baba stuff. So kind of sandwiching those two together puts Red Ribbon a little bit higher than I otherwise would have, and of course the General Tao stuff. So I'm going to put it in D tier, just because those 2 points of the arc are really, really high, but the lows of the Red Ribbon arc for me are really, really low. And there are some points where I'm just kind of bored watching it. Goku solo training arc, episode 79 through 73. I'm not exactly sure where those episodes are. Let me verify, because I actually just got done rewatching the original Dragon Ball. Okay, yeah, so that is after the Fortune Teller Baba stuff and everything. So yeah, it's if I remember correctly, this is mostly filler. But I like it. I like this arc. I'm gonna go, maybe not B tier. I'll put it in C tier. I like the solo training stuff. I like the Terror and Plague stuff. A lot of people like the discount fillers. Oh, he's not canon. It doesn't matter. It's like, I get that stance, but it's like, I think too many people are obsessed with canon. And it's like, the filler, a lot of the filler is enjoyable. Not all of it, but a lot of it is really enjoyable, and it does a lot to flesh out the characters. And, seeing Goku go on a few different, adventures in these episodes are really, really, really cool. 22nd Tenkaichi Budokai arc. This one's obviously really high. We're going to put it ahead of the 21st, though. And that's also what I'll do. I'll put them in the rows, and I'll just slip one ahead. If I think it's a little bit higher, but not quite a whole tier higher. You know what I mean? The stuff with Tien, it's great. The fight with Tien is great. Tien's introduction is handled really well. Even though Tien's introduction was handled in the Shikacho episodes, which were in the solo training arc in the anime, I think the 22nd tournament does a really good job at introducing him and starting to scale things up in terms of power level. Of course, the real crazy scaling doesn't come in until, I'd say, probably the 23rd tournament. The King Piccolo arc, that's tough. I really, really like the King Piccolo arc. That's gonna be another A tier. Yeah, that's gonna be another A tier arc. King Piccolo's such a good villain. He's such a good villain. Everything about that arc is enjoyable. The tales of King Piccolo, the Mafuba, the evil containment wave, characters actually dying, which added actual stakes to Dragon Ball, like real stakes to Dragon Ball for the first time. King Piccolo arc is when things really turned dark, got dark for the first time. Heavenly Training arc, and this would be stuff post the King Piccolo arc, where Goku's training with Kami and stuff like that. There was some fun stuff in there, but overall, I'm not real into a lot of these episodes, and it's kind of just like, hurry up, I want to get past this stuff. So F tier, I don't think it's really all that great of an arc. The 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai arc is S tier, easily. The fight with King Piccolo, not King Piccolo, Piccolo Jr. The fight with Piccolo Jr. That whole arc is honestly one of the best arcs in the entire series of Dragon Ball, not just the original series, both in the anime and in the manga. So I love the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai arc. Definitely one of the best arcs there is. Wedding Dress arc. This arc was more fun than I initially expected it would be back when I first watched it. Even though it's mostly filler and stuff. It is funny that it seems like it's taking Goku and Chi-Chi forever to get this stuff done, and Ox King's castle is just steadily burning the whole time, and I'm like, man, it seems like it's been days. And by the time they get done with this quest, nothing's going to be left of that castle. So, but the Wedding Dress arc, I'm going to put it here with the Hunt for the Dragon Balls arc. Or you know what? Nah, it's not quite that good. We'll put it in C tier. A pretty good middle ground arc. I think it was a good idea to have Goku and Chi-Chi do some adventuring together, grow them closer as a couple. I think that went a long way into establishing them as a good couple, because they actually went on an adventure together. So there is that. The Saiyan arc, of course, is really, 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 really peak. The first main arc of Dragon Ball Z. This is actually really tough because, man, I really like the Saiyan arc. Now, let's consider, this is where we start to kind of differentiate. Because I like the original Dragon Ball Z version of the Saiyan arc. There are some parts of it that drag, but I like some of the filler that's in it. The Princess Snake stuff, and we get to see more of the training, and, you know, Gohan befriends that robot. I can't remember the name of the robot, but he befriends that robot and everything and helps out those orphans and all that stuff. The Kai cut being much closer to the manga really gets down to brass tacks, gets down to business really quickly. The Saiyan saga early flows really quickly in Kai. In the manga, pretty much equal as well. I really like the Saiyan arc in the manga. As far as ranking it, it's really, really, really tough. Because it's got some really great moments, actual stakes. A lot of people die. The epic showdown between Goku and Vegeta, the reveal of Kaioken. It's tough. It's tough, man. I'll put it, it's like high A tier. I'm going to say the Saiyan arc is really high A tier. Not quite good enough to be S tier, but very high A tier. It's like right on the fringes of crossing over. Frieza arc. This one's a bit different because I'm going to say in the original Dragon Ball Z anime, the Frieza arc is one of my least favorites. So let's look at it this way. If I was ranking the Frieza arc as the original, for the original Dragon Ball Z anime, I'd probably rank it B tier. This is like, it's good, but it drags. It drags really, really, really bad. But in the manga, it's way better. It's way better pacing in the manga. And I'm going to base my ranking off of the Kai version since it's closer to the manga. And if I'm doing that, Frieza arc is S tier. It's one of my favorite arcs in all of Dragon Ball if we're going off the manga version or Kai. One of my absolute favorite arcs. I love it. I mean, the reveal of Super Saiyan. The most iconic transformation in all of anime. I mean, we're talking about a transformation, a form that has transcended anime and has been referenced and carried over into other forms of cartoon and media. Frieza arc is absolutely peak. In Kai, S tier. Original Dragon Ball Z anime, probably B tier. But ahead of this one, you know. Garlic Jr. arc. I think Garlic Jr. arc gets a lot of hate, undeserved hate, to be honest. I think it's really good. It's a really fun... I like that it's short. It doesn't drag. It's a really short arc. Obviously, it's filler. But I don't know about that. I'm going to put it in B tier, maybe low B tier. Nah, you know what? We're going to put it high C tier. Garlic Jr. arc's going to be high C tier. It's fun. It's good. It's just not great, and there's not a lot of substance to it because it's filler. And obviously, for the Garlic Jr. arc to really make a lot of sense, you need to see the Dead Zone movie. So, Artificial Human arc, which, you know, would be the Cell arc, is obviously going to be S tier. I'm going to put it behind the Frieza arc, though. You know what? I'm also going to put it behind the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai. The Cell arc used to be my favorite arc. I like it just as much in the original Z as I do in Kai. I think it's roughly just as good in either, and it's just as good in the manga. And I know a lot of people love Gohan, but Gohan's not my favorite character. You know, Super Saiyan 2, Gohan, Teen Gohan, well, you know, what we call Teen Gohan. It's peak. It's probably my favorite version of Gohan is the Cell arc Gohan. And the arc itself is 100% S tier. Just, for me personally, I like the Frieza arc a little bit more, and I like the 23rd tournament a little bit more. Not by much, just a little bit. Cell is obviously, to me, he's one of the best villains in Dragon Ball Z. He's smart, he's intelligent. But he's got some pretty clear character flaws, you know, flaws of overconfidence and stuff, which, ironic, considering he's supposed to be perfect. This is going to be the Otherworld tournament. I did not care very much for the Otherworld tournament. We're going to put it in E tier. I don't think it's really all that great. It had some decent moments. Like, I think the only really, really cool moment for me in the Otherworld tournament is when Goku, was it like Super Kaioken or something like that? It's been a while since I've seen that arc because I haven't watched the original Dragon Ball Z anime in a while. The last time I watched Dragon Ball Z was Kai. And I did, you know, read through the manga again. It's like it's an okay little arc, and Paikon's kind of a cool character, but I just don't think there's enough. It's just not that entertaining to me. I'm going to be completely honest. The Boo arc, this one's This one's actually tough. I'm a little partial to the Boo arc because I think it's got some of the best moments in the series. You know, because we got the World Tournament, we got Majin Vegeta. Majin Buu as a character is very unique, very different. We got Super Saiyan 3, which is like one of my favorite forms in the entire franchise. The fight with Kid Buu, of course, we have Vegito, Buhan. Even though the Fusion Saga is, I'm not super big on the Fusion Saga, largely just because I'm not a big Gotenks fan. I find him kind of obnoxious, but I do really like Vegito. And of course, we get Ultimate Gohan, so it's like it's got all these really, really awesome moments. I just, I don't know. Maybe really, really high A tier. Maybe S tier. Could be low S tier because it's a damn good arc. Like it's really, really good. We're gonna put it in S tier, but it's like lower S tier because it's good. All those moments kind of make up for any of its shortcomings. I'm gonna be honest, at least to me. You know, they're really good. The highs are really high, and the lows are also pretty high. You know, the Ultimate Dragon Balls arc, that'd be the Black Star Dragon Ball arc. It's F tier. I think it's the worst arc in Dragon Ball. It's just it drags really bad, really, really bad. I don't know what to say about it. I mean, Goku, Trunks, like Goku and Trunks are fine. Pan is kind of obnoxious, but it leads into the baby arc, which I actually think is another really, really excellent arc in Dragon Ball. It's not. I don't think the baby arc is S tier. Super Saiyan 4 is an S tier form, but I don't think the baby arc is S tier. As far as where I'd rank it, maybe here in A tier for the baby arc. Super Saiyan 4's peak. I don't know. But I think these 3 arcs are a little bit better than the baby arc. But I mean, that's high praise. GT gets shit on a lot. Super 17 arc. Okay. Alright, I'm going to make some people mad. I'm going to make a lot of people mad. And I'm so sorry for this. But I want you to keep in mind. This is based off of my personal enjoyment of the arc. And this is going to make people mad. I'm sorry. I've heard all the reasons, and they're valid reasons. I'm not going to sit here and argue with you. They're valid reasons. But just something about it I love. I love Android 17. And Super 17 is one of my favorite Dragon Ball villains. So this is purely a bias pick. The whole list is a bias pick. I'm not sitting here trying to objectively rank them. If I was sitting here trying to be as objective as possible, the rankings would probably be a little bit different. This is just based off of my pure enjoyment of the arc. I'm sorry. Super 17 is S tier for me. Lower S tier, but it's S tier for me. I love it so much. The Evil Dragons arc, which would be the Shadow Dragons. High B tier, I think. Because, like, to me, the Shadow Dragon stuff doesn't get good until Nova comes in. It's kind of touch and go until Nova and Sin and Omega, all that stuff happens. It's a little touch and go. So, Shadow Dragons for me is B tier, but it's like higher B tier. The Beerus arc, which would be Battle of Gods. Okay, so this is another one that's kind of like Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Z Kai. I could rank it based on the anime version or the movie version. If I was to rank it based on the anime version, it'd probably be C or B tier. Like low C or B tier. You know, somewhere around here. The movie version's better. It just is. So if I'm going to make... and I'm going to choose to rank it on the movie version. And if I'm being honest, movie version's low A tier. Battle of Gods movie's good. Sue me. Resurrection F arc, if it was the anime version of this arc, F tier. Low F tier. Lowest of the low F tier. But I'm going to rank it on the movie version. The movie version is better. It's going to move up low D tier. Low D tier if we're doing the Resurrection F movie version. You know, the Universe 6 tournament of Destroyers, where Ciampa's team faces Beerus's team. It's okay, but I don't think it's great. You know, Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken's cool. He introduced a lot of really cool characters, and it did a lot to expand the world of Dragon Ball and did a lot of world building. But I put it low C tier. It's okay, decent enough. Copy Vegeta arc, not a fan. Not a fan of this. I'm not a fan of this arc at all. I think it's, you know, just kind of a waste of time. It's just not very entertaining to me. The Future Trunks arc, I call it the Zamasu arc. I think the official name is the Future Trunks arc, anime version. I love this arc. S tier. Put it above Super 17. I think it's an S tier arc. Zamasu is now one of my favorite Dragon Ball villains. Goku Black is awesome. The whole concept of an evil, not necessarily an evil Kai, but a Kai who has kind of become kind of corrupted. You know, he's just a little twisted. He doesn't see things the way he should. I mean, Super Saiyan Rose is sick. We got Vegito Blue. The ending is kind of a cop-out ending. The ending's honestly enough to maybe drop it to high A tier. But I think you know what? I don't feel good enough about this. I don't feel good enough about this. Do I want to leave it in S tier? Because the ending is kind of a cop-out, for being honest. Getting Zeno to deal with it. The arc itself is excellent. Like, the arc is peak up to the ending. You know, I'm going to leave it in S tier. We're going to leave it in S tier because the arc itself is really, really good. It's just the ending that didn't kind of rub people the wrong way. The 9 Weeks of Peace arc, I guess this is like, you know, those filler-ish type episodes of like the baseball stuff and all that stuff. I mean, it's fine. It's fun. You know, oops. I'll put it here. Dang it, I said here. I'll put it here. It's fun. I have a good time watching it. I mean, I think this is where we get like that Arale stuff. It's a good time. The TOP, the Tournament of Power. I think Tournament of Power is excellent, but I don't think it's S tier. I definitely don't think it's S tier. Tournament of Power, I'll probably put her about here, just because Ultra Instinct and all that stuff. You know what? I'll do you one better. We'll move it to about here-ish. Maybe there. We'll settle here. We'll settle right here. Tournament of Power is going to land right there in A tier, somewhere in the middle of A tier. Yeah, somewhere there. Just because Ultra Instinct's peak, the fight with Jiren is peak. There's a lot of really cool enemies in the Tournament of Power, but there were some episodes that kind of bogged it down and made it feel like it was dragging a little bit. But getting to see characters like Krillin and Android 18, Android 17 really have their moments to shine, I think is really cool. Battle of Gods in the manga. I really don't care for it in the manga at all. This arc in the manga, you know, I'm gonna put it right there. I really don't think it's that good in the manga, because Toyotaro glances over it so quickly. There's no substance there. Universe 6 arc in the manga also. It's a little bit better than that, but I'm gonna put it there. Future Trunks arc in the manga is definitely up there. I think it's pretty good. It's been a while since I read it, so just because it's been a while, I don't want to overestimate it. So I'm gonna put it here at B tier because there are some really cool things that happened in the manga version versus the anime version, so it gets points on that. But it also suffers from a few of the same issues. The Tournament of Power in the manga, I don't think the Tournament of Power in the manga is really all that good. The Galactic Patrol Prisoner arc, So I call it the Moro arc. S tier. S tier. Great arc. Love that arc so much. It's so good. I think it's some of the best stuff to come out of Dragon Ball Super, and I cannot wait till it gets animated. The Granola arc is okay. It's okay. It's got some good moments. Ultra Ego, we'll put it here. B tier. Solid B tier. Broly, S tier. S tier. You know what? We're going to move it up. S tier. We're going to put it right there. The Broly movie. And then Superhero. Superhero, I think, is somewhere in A tier. It's also... then again, you know what? We're going to go high B tier. Put Superhero in high B tier. It's like right on the fringe of crossing over into A tier. I just don't think it's quite there at A tier. And there you have it. This is my tier list for all the Dragon Ball arcs, whether it's, you know, anime or manga or movie form. Again, my Dragon Ball Z arc rankings are based on Kai. And again, this is my personal preference. You don't have to agree. This is based on my enjoyment. I wasn't trying to be objective in any way when trying to make this list. If I was trying to be objective, this list would look a little different. You know, if I was like just judging it based on, you know, plot writing, character development, things like that, the list would look different. You know, some of these S tier arcs wouldn't be anywhere near S tier if I was basing it on more objective facts and stances. But this is a purely subjective list that I'm doing based on my enjoyment. I'm really curious to hear, what do y'all think? Where would you rank, you know, all these Dragon Ball arcs? Please put in the comments. Make your own little mini tier list in the comments. I'm really interested to know what you think of my list, as well as how would you rank all the Dragon Ball arcs. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this new small channel. And if you're interested in more Dragon Ball content, please hit subscribe, hit the bell so you're notified when I do upload, because I'm not super consistent yet. We're still figuring things out with this new channel. And please hit the like button if you enjoy this video, because it really helps push it out to more people so that more people can see it and I can hear more opinions on how much my tier list is garbage or how much they don't agree with it or whatever. But again, thank you guys.
You stole my heart of gold.